has been waiting for over 2 years. Huh. This is Frederick Shute. He's my Intrinity guy. The thing that I've been making such a fuss about has finally arrived to Heart Talks. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Sheila.
I got to tell you, I met Fred over 2 years ago, and I saw that he had this thing called an Intrinity. And I had no idea at that point that Intrinity had captured me, but it had. I was not aware of that until I look back. I remember approaching Fred about talking about the Intrinity, and he was like, "Oh no, I don't think so. I blah 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 blah." And I'm like, well, and I can imagine. I bet you if I look back at the text, I would imagine I probably said, "Well, when you grow some, give me a call." I mean, and when we were done with our conversation, very clearly the universe says, don't give up on that one. And I'm like, oh, well, that one is going to take some tough love and a lot of patience.
Just waiting for the proper time.
That's what we were waiting for. Because when the proper time came, man, oh man, did it take off. Did everybody come together? Did everything happen? And I would say we've witnessed the miracle. We've witnessed what it was created for. And I'm especially glad that I got to be in on your project. So thank you very much for that.
Are you there?
Okay. Okay. We got it.
Are you there?
Yep.
Okay, good. Well, I didn't hear a lot of what you just said there, I think. It cut off for about a minute. Are you there now?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much for your interest in the Intrinity and having me on your show. It is an incredible family. And if I listed all the people that have helped, it would take up the whole show. I could do a whole show and just naming all the people that have helped and telling what they've done. But right now I'm extremely tired, in that kind of tired that you get when you've crossed the finish line and won the game, kind of tired, and you're just exhausted. But I'm very happy, very tired, and very grateful. And thank you for having me on the show.
You know, on Heart Talks here, most of the time I talk to my guest about, you know, how they discovered their abilities or how they discovered their gig. And, you know, and another point about this is that I want people to know that no matter what your path is, you know, it's leading to somewhere. And you had a very cool start as far as how and why Intrinity chose you.
Well, that's a really good way to put it too. I feel like I was chosen, and I'll explain that more as I get to the conclusion of this little story. But I grew up in Europe, and I had this ancient civilization thing imprinted on me at a very young age. And I was just fascinated by touring all the Roman and Greek ruins and everything all over Europe. And that expanded when I went to college and became a geologist, and then I became a mineralogist, and then I became a gemologist. And I traveled all over the world buying gems in Sri Lanka, Thailand, Hong Kong, and Indonesia, and then selling them all over Europe and all over America. And that really re-imprinted on me this ancient civilization thing. There's a place in Sri Lanka called Polonnaruwa, which isn't even that old. I think it's only 1,500 years old. But I remember to this day standing in the middle of this circular ruin and getting that epiphany, like, wow, this is something to do with what I have to do. And I still didn't know what it was. I came back, excuse me, I stopped because, you know, it sounds like a very glamorous lifestyle, but you can't have a garden, you can't have a dog, you can't have a girlfriend. I mean, it's really hard. I traveled for 7 years straight. And so when I came back, all I knew about was gems. And how can you sell gems? You have to make jewelry out of them. So I started, my first jewelry store, as you know, was in Moscow, Idaho. We bought a little rock shop in Tico, the Tico Stop and Rock Shop. We moved over to Moscow, and that became Gemstay Crystals. Before I was done, I had owned 5 retail jewelry stores. And that's a trying experience to be in retail for 20-something years. It's very interesting. But one of the things that led to me was starting to make these ancient symbols as jewelry. And I actually went and started a sculpture project called Mythological Images. And many of your listeners will probably recognize this name, Ian Lungold. He was one of the sculptors that worked with me. He was the one who did all the research on the Mayan calendar and created that codex. And but then I met this gentleman named Kimball Anderson, who was helping me sculpt some of the Asian. We did Greek, Roman, Peruvian, Mayan, Incan, Chinese, Egyptian, deities from all ancient civilizations, about 6 inches tall. We made them in silver and solid gold. Our sculpture of Quetzalcoatl in solid gold weighs 30 ounces of pure gold.
Wow.
Now, gold was only $350 an ounce then, so that was only $10,000 for the gold. Now, of course, it's 4 times the price. But Kimball is an Aikido master, and he started teaching me a lot more than sculpting. He turned me on to this gentleman named Father Charlie Moore, and I listened to a lecture of his that he did at Findhorn, Scotland in 1979, called the Ark of the Covenant series. And he traces the relationship between the Ark of the Covenant, the Temple of Solomon, and the cathedrals of Europe, and all of this stuff throughout the history of Western civilization, how it all links together. And that transformed me. But then Kimball Anderson.
When you say it transformed me, do you think that it brought up your ancient self or ancient memories that you hold?
You know what it is? I feel like I've had these series of like little epiphanies that link together, that led up to the big one that I'm going to tell you in a second. But I felt like I was being guided on this path to do something. I'd always thought from a small child that I was going to do something significant in the world. I was totally off track on that for a long time, thinking it had to do with making money and being a big deal. So, but then I read the Emerald Tablets of Tothi Atlantean that Kimball Anderson had turned me on to. And excuse me, I've got silver in my throat. I've been making trinities. I've got silver in my eyes, silver in my throat. So I read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, but I didn't just read them, I wrote them out.
Right.
Wrote every word out.
Right.
And I noticed a cadence to it. It's like da 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 da. And I subconsciously absorbed this rhythm of you hear that playing? Okay, we'll let it pass. And I've got my rhythm section here, the cicadas, I hope everyone is appreciating. So I wrote out the entire Emerald Tablets. And at some point along the way, I realized, so why would I write out a book? Who does that? Well, scribes do that, right? So apparently, this wasn't the first time in my history of all my lives is I'd written out the emerald tablets of Tophet. But when I finished writing them, I was staying at a little hotel in Sedona. I had a store here at the time, and I'm not exactly sure how to describe what happened, but I went in sort of a trance for about 10 days. I forgot to eat. I didn't know when I came out of it, I had amazing psychic abilities. I could read everyone's mind. I knew what was going on. I don't have that now. It just lasted for a small amount of time. But I went through this transformation where I totally connected in to the heart of the emerald tablets. I was the emerald tablets. I became everything in the emerald tablets, and then almost immediately out popped the Intrinity. And I think the Intrinity is a three-dimensional representation of the information in the emerald tablets. And from that point on, I was a completely different person. I blew up my life where I was a big deal, making money and having cars and houses and all this stuff. I gave it all up, and I came back to Sedona and lived in my car on a cliff for 6 months with my dog. And got rid of all the crap that I was and became who I really am. And it was the most profound and amazing experience that, well, for me in my life I could have. Because I'm one of the people who figured out what my mission in life was, and then I did it. I completed it.
You know, when we finally connected again, we started talking about doing a show again. You said to me, well, before we go any further, I want to send you an Intrinity so that you can know for yourself. And even at that point, I had no clue. I had already been intrinitized. Okay.
Trinitized, okay.
Okay. And then I found out after I pieced all the facts together that when you were making my Intrinity, I instinctively got up and started painting. And I still, even at that point, did not realize, because when I go into my painting, I'm in my own, and so I barely even remember what I've done once I come out. I mean, I come out and look at it and go, wow. At that point, something had happened that I had become the energy of the Intrinity, and that this was an actual real tool that I could now discover and begin a relationship with.
Well, it's interesting that you said that you had this movement while I was making it, and I think that's correct, because I make all the Intrinities myself by hand, and I always feel like each one is being made for a particular person. And I often have the picture of the person on my bench while I'm making it, as I did with yours while I was making yours. And something is being activated in that process of making the Intrinity for this specific person. In fact, sometimes, honestly, I feel like I can go over there and watch my body making the Intrinity for the person. I'm a witness to it. And so I believe that probably triggered you at the moment that I was actually creating it. So.
Right. And I had and I posted that I was letting you know how it was going along the way, and when I wasn't wearing it, I had it on the painting zeroed right in onto the center of the Intrinity, because I believed, I knew of the power of the Intrinity, and as with all my paintings, I wanted to bring that energy into the painting. and then I sent the painting to you so you could see that it does indeed work.
Well, and right now that painting is hanging in the Atlantis Gallery in Sedona, and it's causing a sensation in its own right. The painting is alive. I mean, well, you know, you walk by it and it reflects and it's sparkling and there's an energy coming out of the middle of it, just like the Intrinity has when it's spinning. You've captured that energy exactly. And
well, that I expect that level of magic in just about anything that I do now, and I would hope that anyone who's watching this and has an Intrinity or is going to get an Intrinity will use this as an actual energy that you can have a relationship with and use. And okay, so after at some point you came up with this idea that we need to get the Intrinity all around the world.
there are over 3,000 Intrinity keepers right now all over the world, a lot in Australia, a lot in Australia. We like to call ourselves Intrinity keepers because I don't think you really own an Intrinity. You have it for your time here. And when each one of us is gone, I learned this from the Rosicrucians, these kind of objects will retain the energy of the possessor. So when we pass on, there'll be another keeper for that Intrinity, and it'll have a tradition of the knowledge of the energy of each person who has it as they are passed on and on. But we had the Intrinity Activation Day just about 2 weeks ago. I can't believe it's been 2 weeks already. It hasn't, it's been 12 days. But it is, in my intention, a worldwide consciousness activation tool.
Okay, go.
Okay, so on September 18th, we had Intrinity World Activation Day. And those are my dogs. And they're all excited about this too, by the way. But they're also excited because an ambulance is driving by, and that's just how they get. It's like getting a standing ovation. Okay, so Intrinity World Activation Day. It was all over the world. Just a second. Hey! You can't write lines like this.
All right, this is going in my bloopers.
Okay. All right, so September 18th was Intrinity World Activation Day. We had people all over the world spinning their Intrinities and activating them. Yes. Not all at the same time, people in different time zones. There's a lot of Intrinities, as I said, in Australia and a lot in Europe. And we had my friend David Mason drove from England, took the ferry over to Ireland, and took his Intrinity to Newgrange, Ireland, where the Intrinity is composed of two basic symbols, the circle and the triangle, and then the things on the outside with the three curly things are tree scales, and they are from Newgrange. That's where they originated, the first sighting of tree scales in the world. And so Newgrange is an essential part of the whole Intrinity story. We also, and it's continued through the week. We had someone the day before yesterday at Mount Gunung Agung in Bali, the heart of the world, one of the most sacred mountains in all of Asia.
I'm gonna put up these pictures that I have that we've collected while you're talking, because we have some great pictures. Can you see that?
Yeah, that's great. That was John Carville in Spain. Where is that? It's at London Bridge, I think.
That's the London Bridge in Arizona.
We have so many great Intrinity brothers and sisters, Intrinity keepers That's at Mike Shore's place. Mike Shore is one of our partners. He's also the webmaster at Mayan Magic.
There I was. I was at
that one.
I was at the Sasquatch convention that day. That was, oh, let me tell you, that was powerful. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is.
That's a nice one. So that's the one. My friend John Hall took that Intrinity from me here in Arizona and brought it to Australia to deliver it to Damien. And that's one of the most incredible Intrinities I've ever made. It's a combination of 18-karat rose gold and electrum. Now, electrum is the sacred Egyptian metal composed of half pure gold and half pure silver. And that thing, you know, usually I say that the Intrinities don't have any power of their own. They have to be interacted with. You have to use them. They're tools. But that one, there's something about that. And I think it's to do with the electrum and 18-karat rose gold. 18-karat rose gold is the love color.
Absolutely. When you consider everything as vibration, I think this one is Spain.
That's in Spain. That's I think that one might be going to the Alhambra this week or sometime soon as well.
There's your sisters.
Right. Yeah, I think we had about 300 Intrinity keepers involved with us that day.
Right.
And it's still going on.
Texas.
This coming Sunday, David Mason, who went to Newgrange, is going to Stonehenge, Glastonbury, and Avebury to activate the Intrinities at those three important sites.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the movement continues. Here's Bali. That's
a great one in Bali. And our great Intrinity, that's an amazing painting.
This shows where I had it hung when I wasn't wearing it. I had it hung on the picture.
And now that is hung in Atlantis Gallery in Sedona.
And I love this. This is the Chanel of all Intrinities right here. Every time I post this, people who don't even know what an Intrinity is are drawn to this. This is
a fantastic, amazingly well-composed photograph.
Let's talk about this.
Kate, my gosh, you know, like I've said, we have so many great team members. You and Kate are among the greatest, and Kate composed this music inspired by the Intrinity, and we're just all so honored about that.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And then another friend of mine actually designed this CD cover. That was you, by the way.
Let me tell you. Okay, here's one of the miracles of the Intrinity. What happened? First, I met Kate. Then she starts making this beautiful music. And when I was creating this CD cover, I was listening to the music as I created it. And then after I was done, it sat on my computer and it was induced with the music for 18 hours before I sent it to her. And interestingly, this is the miracle. This is Intrinity for you. When I made the front covers, I gave her 4 choices to use. On this particular one, I asked that throat chakra energy be put into this particular cover because of her singing. So I spent some time getting throat chakra energy in that. Then I sent all 4 of the covers for her to check out and to choose one. And sure as all, she chose the one with the throat chakra. Mm. And again, that is the power and the magic that that is available to use.
And so now listen to this now. It comes around in a circle. Because now I listen to this music. I usually am at my workbench every morning and really invocate the whole process at 3:33 a.m. Right. And I put this music on. And so the music is coming back and infusing through the creation process again.
I feel like we're like living in, this is New Earth energy. This is what we do in New Earth energy. This is how creation works itself through us, because all of us are saying it is coming virtually through us. We hardly even take credit for it.
Let me just, if you don't mind, say a few words about the creation process as I make each Intrinity.
Yes.
Now, first of all, I feel like every Intrinity I'm making is being made for a certain person, whether I'm aware of exactly who that person is at the moment or not. Often I have the person's picture on my workbench,
Right.
and I put the intention of making that for them. Right. But what happens is that, I know this sounds odd, but sometimes I feel like I am standing back and witnessing my body doing the work. I'm watching this Intrinity being made for this person. Every Intrinity I touch 18 times throughout the process. And I make everyone by hand, and I love it. Except that the way things are going, I won't be able to make everyone myself anymore pretty soon.
Okay, let's just talk about that briefly, because it is a fact of life. We knew that it would eventually come to this. And what I want to make the point of is that the energy of the Intrinity is energy in itself. Shape has vibration. And, you know, I don't even know how to say this correctly, but mathematically speaking, it speaks for itself. So whether you make it or not, the Intrinity still will have the energy that it is.
Well, there's two aspects to how the Intrinity, there's got to be three, but there's two of them. Okay, the first one is just by looking at the Intrinity, it triggers remembrance of all of this lost knowledge that we all have, we all know, but we've sort of forgotten or have it indoctrinated out of us. And all of this has been described in the Emerald Tablets. And as an encapsulation, a three-dimensional encapsulation of the Emerald Tablets, just by looking at it, consciously or subconsciously, you are being triggered to remember it. But other than that, I don't think, except for that one that I made through Damien, I don't know that I would say that any of them do anything by themselves except trigger that remembrance. The main thing is the Intrinity is a tool for consciousness activation, consciousness acceleration, especially if you learn how to spin it. Because when you spin the Intrinity, you can see the star tetrahedron inside it, the star Merkaba, the principle, the primary principle of alchemical thought, as above, so below. It's one pyramid going up and one pyramid going down, and they connect, and that's the Merkaba.
Yes, yes. And I really tried to express the energy of that in that painting. I wanted the core of that to just be alive. And I want to tell you a little story. My grandson had asked me, because I had it around my neck, and he asked me what it is. And I said, well, hey, let me show you what this thing can do. And so I held my chain up and I said, Intrinity, which way means yes? And it started swinging back and forth. And I said, and Intrinity, which way means no? And so then it started swinging forward and back. So I got two little pieces of paper. I put a number 1 on one piece and I put a number 2 on the other. And I handed them to my grandson and I said, okay, mix them up and put one of them down on the table for me. And I put the Intrinity over the paper, and I said, Intrinity, is this number 2? And it swung that it was not. And I opened it up, and it was number 1. My grandson, his eyes got this big. He actually kind of ran out of the room.
Well, we laugh, but a lot of people use the Intrinity as a pendulum for dowsing.
Oh, yeah.
And I've heard a lot of people say it's the most effective dowsing instrument they've ever had.
Absolutely. You can ask it anything.
You can spin it with your dowsing. You have another level of knowledge accessibility.
Right. And I want to add another thing that has happened to me, Fred, because this is in alignment of all things that happen. I was taken by the Intrinity, and I had been told by 3 very intuitive people that my paintings were going to take off because of symbols. And I was like, well, I'm going to need a good zapping because I don't even know what you're talking about. Okay. I did the Intrinity, and I still didn't exactly get it. 2 days ago, I saw a symbol for manifestation, and I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. The next day, somebody showed me another symbol, and I had one of those pow moments where I realized I found my symbols. I know what I'm going to be painting. I had a breakthrough. I had been so lost and wasn't sure what I was going to be doing next in my paintings. I knew I was coming to a new something, and I now know that I do indeed respond quite well to symbols, and now I can take my paintings to a whole nother realm. Mm-hmm. So I have to say, Fred, thank you for being a part of that chain of events that has opened me up to what I'm going to be doing next. I'm new. I'm more alive, and my vibration has changed, and I am more aware from the chain of events that happen. I can't imagine. I mean, I know you're just spinning right now because you have been so busy, but I can't imagine once you've had time to process what is going to come of you.
Well, it's hard to describe this. It's an honor to be part of this process myself. In fact, the Intrinity is not my idea. That's not my design. It's from the Emerald Tablets. It's tens of thousands of years old. But I was the one who was chosen to manifest it in the 3-dimensional form. So I'm really just the craftsman. But what an honor for me to go through my whole life to become a geologist, a gem dealer, a jewelry store owner, learning how to make jewelry. Also, I could make this thing. It's all for that. And now it's going all over the world. And I really think, and I think many of the Intrinity keepers would agree with me, that it is having an impact. Not just on, well, like it impacted you. Mm-hmm. I hear stories like that constantly. Mm-hmm. About people having major shifts in their life. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it appears to not be a good shift at first. They might just say, screw it, quit their job and move to Sedona. But, and that can have difficulties associated with it. But a lot of people are being shifted by their experiences with the Intrinity.
Right. I know your goal is not to sell as many Intrinities as you can. This has been way deeper than that. It was about becoming worldwide. And I have seen others who have beautiful designs, but for some reason they don't have a movement like we've had. and an activation day. I mean, this seriously went into a serious global mode, and I'm just like amazed at how many people came to your side for this project.
And still coming. We put a video out this week of the Intrinity was made as a sculpture by Bronzesmith's Foundry, Ed Riley, over in Prescott Valley. It was about 10 feet tall. It had a pyramid that was about 4 feet tall. It was on legs, and then it had the Intrinity on the top spinning. Mm-hmm. And we have some beautiful videos of that. The one was it's up now. It's filmed by Christopher O'Brien, and it was filmed during the blue moon. And you can see the blue moon right in the middle of it, and it goes in and out. And that's attracted a lot of people to the movement too. Wow. Call it a movement. To me, I guess it is, but to me, it's like it's become a family. I mean, really.
Right.
How many Intrinity brothers and sisters we have now? There are thousands of them, and growing a lot. And Lisa in Bali, this whole ritual she did of bringing the Intrinity to Gunung Agung, the sacred mountain in Bali. She's got some great stills and video footage of that. We're going to make a video out of that. We're making a video of David Mason and his trip to Newgrange, but I don't know if I mentioned this or if we got cut off in my video. He's going to Stonehenge, Avebury, and Glastonbury this Sunday, and there's another video we're putting together. And people are just doing this everywhere, spontaneously, videographing their experiences and taking pictures. But to me, this is like, it's part of this whole shift of consciousness that we're all involved in. We're just one of the players. And, it's just a small part. There's only a few thousand of us. But there's a tipping point. And we're almost there. That 100th monkey, that 100th human, we're almost there. And we feel like we're playing a part in tipping it over the top.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of us in many ways feel exactly that. And I think we're all just like, it gives us the gumption to just keep trying and just keep moving forward because we're getting awfully close.
And we are awfully close, and it all comes in conjunction with all this world chaos, this fake election, all the fake, ISIS, I'm not going to get into the whole politics of that, but it's all manipulated. It's all these very desperate efforts to try to keep the, I got to be careful here not to get into, keep the negative forces in power.
Right.
And we're at that tipping point where just at the moment where it could all go into utter chaos, we can tip it over and there we'll have the golden age.
Okay, the way I see it is let them tip, let them be however they're going to be, because it's not stopping us from creating new earth energy already. We're already there. Just let them go ahead and fall. They're on their way down. We have to keep moving forward and upward.
Right. That's exactly how I see it too. And we talked about that yesterday. We're there.
Yes.
It's already, time is an illusion. It's already happened. But we have to follow through. And it's a beautiful, joyous experience to be at this place, to go up together over.
Absolutely. And you talk about the dark side, we always use the word struggle. And when we talk about what we're doing, it's absolute, complete joy. Exhausting, but absolute joy.
Right. And for me, it's gratitude more than anything.
Oh, yeah.
I've been through various phases in my life where I was a jerk and I woke up, and I think I'm doing the right things now, but I'm so thankful for everything through this gorgeous day. Look, here's I live on this creek.
Look at that. Absolutely beautiful.
I have these 4 wonderful dogs that give me joy all the time, and everything it's so, all of us decided, even fought to come to this life to be part of this process. This is like the Super Bowl of the human race,
yes.
And we're in it, and it's exciting. and I'm so thankful.
Well, I'm grateful that we finally got together to do this. I'm glad we kind of waited till it was all over and we could, well, it's not over, but till, that peak was over and we could just relax and talk about it and reflect and I mean, I have been in gratitude mode for weeks now. I mean, and things just keep popping up and things just keep getting better. And, when we're on these highs like this, we just have great things to say and, challenges still come up, but we seem to be able just to walk through them and figure it out. And there's not drama and so much stress and we're working like crazy right now and we're waking up at 3 a.m.
3:33.
3:33.
I'm at my bench at 3:33.
Right.
I live in Arizona, so I can live the siesta lifestyle. Take a nice nap in the afternoon.
Oh, well, okay. So if somebody wanted to get their own Intrinity, what shall we say? Where shall we direct them?
We have an Etsy, however you pronounce that, Etsy store, Intrinity 3. They're available at 3 galleries in Sedona, Sacred Light, Peace Place, and Atlantis Gallery. They're available at Galena Jewelers in Cottonwood. They're available at Mayan Magics on the web and many other places, but those are the main places because I'm centered. I don't live in Sedona, but I live nearby. So the Intrinity was established here, and this is its sort of home. So.
Well, all right. We will be keeping in touch, and we'll see how things roll, and maybe we can do an update in a few months at all the things. Maybe we can get some of the family on and talk about everything that's happened since they've gotten their Intrinity.
Well, it would be great to have a lot of people brought this up, have an Intrinity family, not reunion, but party gathering.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people. I think we'd get hundreds of people would come at this point because that'll be after the shift, and we'll be celebrating.
Right. We won't have tech issues back whenever we get to that.
No, and we'll have teleportation.
Yeah. See?
I do want to reiterate one thing I said at the beginning, and that is, I could try to name everyone who's been part of this and helped out, but that would take a whole nother show right there. I just really want to say again how much I appreciate everyone who's been involved in the Intrinity movement, and thank you for being a part of this wave we're building, and it's just getting bigger every day.
Absolutely. Thank you, Fred. We will talk to you soon. Everyone, Intrinity family, we love you. We're so proud. We're so grateful for all the efforts all of you have put in to get the Intrinity around, to send in your pictures. Thank you so much. Onward and upward.
Love all you keepers. You're keepers.
That's right, Intrinity keepers. From my heart to yours, I love you. Namaste.
Love you, Sheila. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye.